Hey everyone, it's John and Jackie with OpenLove101.com. We're so glad that you could join us. Be sure and click the blue bell to be notified.
Yes.
What is it? Yeah, to be notified of something.
Of our upcoming videos.
Of our upcoming videos.
Here on YouTube, where you can also subscribe, and we would appreciate it if you did.
Yes.
We get questions from time to time about the levels of experience in the lifestyle. So a couple just got together. They're talking about getting into the lifestyle, consensual non-monogamy or swinger lifestyle. Mm-hmm. One of them has a lot of experience in it. They've been doing it for years with their ex. And the other one has no experience. And how do they navigate that?
It was so funny when we got that, because I was almost like, did we write this? Did we send ourselves a question? Because that is you and me.
It is, yes.
It is. I mean, you had all this experience, and I didn't even know what the heck you were talking about.
I mean, for me, I have always been in this lifestyle, even though I didn't label myself as anything. People would ask me about who I was sexually, and I'm just like, I'm just open-minded. I just like to have a good time. And,
right.
You know, I remember in my late teens and early 20s having threesomes and orgies, and I didn't think anything about it. And it wasn't until years later when I went to a swingers club in Europe that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is me.
Gosh, you had such a different 20s than I did.
What were you doing in your 20s?
I was having children.
Having children.
And being a wife, yes. I was not having orgies.
And
I was not having threesomes.
Were you in your mind?
You know, I don't know if I was having those specific things in my mind, but I do think probably from like a sexuality standpoint, I felt like there was probably more to life than where I was at that point.
Okay.
I just didn't know that there was any way for me to grab hold of those out, you know, within where I was. I mean, to do that, I felt like that would have to be something outside of what I was doing somehow. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when you and I reconnected and you're just like, you know, this is my life. It was just like, wow.
This is what I do for a living.
This is what I do for a living. This is how I live my life. This is how my entire adulthood has operated from. I mean, you'd moved in and out of relationships. Sometimes they were more monogamous based, I guess.
Well, they were monogamous by definition, but I was being cheated on, so that's not really monogamous.
Oh, well, I mean, that would be considered probably the normal monogamous.
The normal monogamous marriage, yes.
Or relationship. So, you know, I guess what these people are asking is, you know, like, how do you navigate that when you feel like, you know, one person is like down here in the beginners column and you've got the expert over here, you know, how does the expert not feel like they're, you know, maybe being, I don't want to say being restrained, and then how does the beginner not feel like they're being pulled or pushed in a way?
I mean, from our experience, I didn't feel restrained at all.
You didn't?
No.
Oh.
It was exciting to me to be able to show you this lifestyle and to see how you embraced it. And no matter what level that it was, you know, just seeing your excitement and trying something new was really exciting for me. It's the excitement of showing someone that doesn't how wonderful it can be.
You know, that's true. That is true. I hadn't really thought of that. You know, like the advantage that I had with you, because you weren't pushing me, but you were able to say, you know, because I've experienced this in my own life, I know the beauty of it. Mm-hmm. So I know that if you want to experiment with this, or if this is something that you want to do, I'm going to be here to support you because I know the value of what it produces.
And you know, it was interesting too how we started. We really didn't start like a lot of couples do with, you know, playing together or trying soft swap together or something like that. Jackie and I lived in separate states. And so how we started, I think it's because you really, I seem to remember that you suggested it because you were more comfortable with that aspect of it. And that was playing separately in these different states and then talking about it.
I know, isn't that crazy? I almost look back then and I'm like, wow, I was like super duper progressive in my thought pattern or how I absorbed what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because that was really surprising. I hadn't experienced that aspect of consensual non-monogamy at that point. Really, Jackie, even though I was the one with experience, you introduced me to that aspect of the lifestyle essentially.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there was something about how much I relied on your knowledge to help me kind of push through my own fears. You were so supportive of me and made it sound like it was just such a great opportunity for me to do this that it made it easy for me to say, yes, let's try this out. Let's give this a shot. Let me see what I think of it to see whether it's something that I like or not. Now, again, it was one of those opportunities in my own life where I really felt like I could expand who I was. Like I was really ready to do something different. I was really ready to find out for myself, what did I want from life? How many things I had not tried in life, and I was determined to try those, so we did that. So, I think for these couples, if you've got somebody that's experienced and somebody that's maybe not experienced, the experienced partner gets this great vantage point of really being able to kind of teach the student, so to speak, and really have that patience and showing them and watching their transition into it. And then the person that's new, you have this great resource. You can really lean against what they know. They're already going to be confident in the relationship model that they have with you, so their fear level isn't going to be, like maybe where your fear level is at the beginning because they have the experience. So both of you aren't dealing with it. It's just the one of you. And so it can be easier to absorb that.
And you said I was supportive of you, but you were supportive of me as well. You think about early on when we were first getting into it and how you were supportive of me in doing things.
This is true. This is true.
And it really helped me embrace that aspect of a relationship because, like I said, there was some fear and trepidation on my part. I'm in a new relationship with someone that I'd fallen in love with, and yet she's suggesting that we play separately. And, the fear of what are you going to say when I'm done?
Yeah.
Are you going to still want to be with me?
Yeah.
And, you've talked about the similar fears that you had. So it really takes a tremendous amount of trust between the new partners, I think, going through this. And, I just put it out there. I just put it out there. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to accept what happens.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because I did the exact same thing. I think in both of those instances, we took 100% responsibility for the choice we were making. And when you do that, when you own your own behavior and your own choices, then you can't blame your partner because you've already owned it. And so that does make a difference.
It does. Yep.
That's a good point.
I think as you move along, there's going to be ups and downs and fears are going to crop up as you're navigating the life of consensual non-monogamy. And I have this little thing I do with Jackie. I'm like, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like this, but it's always moving
up.
Yeah, we're making more and more progress and experiencing new things. Yeah. And as long as that's happening, which means being open to communication and honest and being trusting in the process and being very introspective of ourselves, I think, because a lot of the trouble we have is within ourselves, and that's where the fear lies.
Right.
And we can blame others for it. It's important to look within ourselves and try and overcome those fears if we can, if we choose to, and be supportive of your partners. And I think you can have a successful relationship in the world of consensual non-monogamy.
You can.
And as Jackie says, own it. Subscribe to our email list at openlove101.com. We'll send you our newsletter, which will update you on Jackie's articles, our videos, and other things that we might have going on. Thanks for being here.
See ya.
Great job on that video. And if you guys enjoyed it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to see plenty more.